stop.
Hello, and welcome to the RWB Live. I'm Morgan Suter, and this is Noah Horn.
Hey guys.
Our first topic today is U.S. strategies. I have seen war. I hate war. 7 simple words spoken by President Roosevelt to portray his true feelings on the war. President Roosevelt did not want to involve the United States in World War II. As time went on, things started getting much worse for the United States. Initially, World War II started when Britain and France declared war on Germany after the invasion of Poland. America soon involved itself in the war when the Lend-Lease Act was initiated in November of 1940. If the United States was going to enter the war, they had to do so in a manner that left the Axis powers shaken in their boots. One strategy that was used is known as island hopping. Island hopping was used not to capture every single island in the Pacific, but to skip their way to the bombing of Japan. By surpassing these islands, it saved time, supplies, weapons, and troops. This also effectively cut off the islands occupied by the Japanese, thus rendering them useless. This strategy was tested in Operation Cartwheel. This operation was used to isolate the Japanese base at Rabaul. General Douglas MacArthur's main goal was to start pushing the Allied forces across northeastern New Guinea while naval forces secured the Solomon Islands to the east. Our U.S. forces moved from island to island, using each as a base for capturing the next. Right now, our main concern is Germany. They are the biggest threat to us, and we will not be defeated by them. We are also using air combat as a strategy to defeat the Axis powers. We have flown thousands of aircraft from the factories from America to Great Britain. The American strategy is to take the fight to the enemy directly and effectively. Our American strategy is to fly by daylight, which were reasonably accurate, while the British strategy are night attacks and the usage of saturation bombing. This is a drawback considering that innocent civilians are usually the target of saturation bombing. In the Pacific Ocean, our early plan was to hold the Japanese and prevent any other kind of expansion from them. Our American Marines fought a very brutal but very successful stalling action against the Japanese in the Solomon Island region. While other militaries are rushing and not strategizing their attacks during this war, that is all that the United States are doing. We are not attacking or wanting to open up a second front just because Stalin has pushed us. We are not ready, and we are willing to be patient, but that also means that we will be more prepared, and it increases our chance of helping the Allies win the war. Our most powerful strategy that we have is making the atomic bomb. This gives us hope that we will not match the German effort, considering we are unaware of their plans and have no idea what to expect. However, our atomic bomb strategy actually surpassed the German effort. The German military had failed before the American atomic bomb program is finished. Therefore, Japan was our test case for the fatality and power of the bomb. Overall, our American strategy was a great success. As Americans, we are built strong, brave, and proud. We have struggled through wars but never gave up, and we came up on top. We are America, a part of the Allies, and we will conquer the Axis powers, and we will never give up. Fight till the end to finish this war.
The home front. World War II fierce and tensions tested civil liberties, but also provided new opportunities for women and minorities. Many women found jobs, especially in industries. Women gained confidence, knowledge, organizational experience, and a paycheck. Few Americans found meaningful employment with defense employees. In response, African-American labor leader A. Philip Randolph planned a massive march on Washington, D.C. to protest employment discrimination. Wartime needs encourage people to move to the South and Southwest to find jobs in defense industries.
To elevate the rural population, during the United States initiated the Bracero program. This program brought Mexican laborers to work on American farms. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the federal government moved 100,000 Japanese Americans living on the West Coast camps in isolated locations under a policy of internment. They were held there in jail-like conditions for the duration of the war. Hi, my name is Patrick Pelfrey, and I'm going to be talking about war casualties, and my topic is human interest. For the Axis power military, there were 6,582 deaths. In civilians, there were 1,686,000 deaths. For the Axis power, there was a total of 8,268,000 deaths. The country that suffered the most deaths is Germany, with close to half the end result of casualties. For Allied power military, there were 14,276,800 deaths. In civilians, there were 25,686,900 deaths. For the Allied power, there was a total of 39,963,700 deaths. The country that suffered the most is Soviet Union, with 10 million deaths in military and 10 million deaths in civilians. The total number of deaths for World War II are for military 20,858,800. For civilian, 27,303,772,900. And the total number of deaths in the war is 48,231,700 deaths. Alright, now we're going into our one. Alright, for the casualty that we saved in World War II, my name is Patrick, and I'll be interviewing the guy that saved his sergeant, Richard Smith, from a shot right below the eye that exited out his earlobe. Alright, so basically I'm going to ask you questions. So, do you think he was dead when you saw him at first sight?
Yes, I did think he was dead because there was blood everywhere, and you could tell that he was shot right beneath his eye, and there were fear in his eyes, and he was trembling from head to toe.
It's a nice answer. So, why did you run away from him in the first place?
I thought he was already dead, and I didn't know if I could save him without risking my own life.
What made you go back for him, and why?
I went back for him because he was abandoned by 3 of his squad members, and he was our squad leader, so I wasn't going to let him die on the battlefield, and he would do the same for us.
It's interesting. Alright, what were your thoughts when you first saw him?
When I first saw him, I was scared to death, and I was in shock and panicking because I didn't know how to help him.
Alright, how lucky do you think he was to survive?
I think he's very fortunate to survive because we managed to get out of the embankment and none of the enemy saw us, so we managed to get him to safety.
How did you feel when you rescued him?
I felt very determined, and that my only goal was to get him to safety because I felt he didn't deserve to die there. And since he was such a good man, I didn't want to see him die and not be able to live the rest of his life.
Alright, that wraps it up.